Will July 1st finally be the turnaround that we need? I've been saying that the first and second quarter of 2023 would be peak negativity, peak rate increases. So we'll kind of take a look at what some of the data says there. Also, I want to show some interesting, sobering data about real estate data as far as agents that have gotten out of the market and some data along those lines. But I do want to say this. I talked to an agent who was getting out of the business, has been in the business for a few years, just said the market is not really great, and he was showing me some of the stats. And the stats are true. And when I started doing these videos a few years back and really focusing on the market, I think it's good to know where the puck is going. But I don't want to get that conflated with the fact that really anyone, lenders, realtors making money, it's your own personal market that matters. I know when transactions have dropped to an all-time low, there's realtors that are making a ton of money. I know when it's booming, realtors are making a ton of money. Same thing with mortgage and lending. And whatever the market is doing is not an excuse not to succeed. I've talked to several, and you're probably one of them if you're watching these videos, that have had their record months over the last few months, and they've been in the industry for 20, 25 years. So that just tells you that there's always going to be people that find a way to succeed. Having your own daily success plan, creating your own personal market is the most important that you can do. And all this data, all these things are fun to know, but ultimately is not an excuse not to succeed. So when I look at this article here from Redfin, I think this really sums up kind of what I see going on in the market, which is they say housing market update. Mortgage rates are up, home sales are down, prices are resilient, meaning prices aren't changing. And again, U.S. home buyers' monthly payment hit a record high of $2,651 this week, roughly up $350 from a year ago. And that's important to know. Buyers are always going to buy on payment, whether you buy a car or anything. As the payments get higher, less people want to buy. Rates have been on their way up, back close to 7% again, and mortgage applications fall as rates go up. That's just a fact. When you look at rates here, back to 6.9%. And when we zoom in on the 30-year fixed here, you can see this is kind of rates peaked over 7, dropped back to 6.5 or so, and then back up to 6.9. Now, again, remember, everyone's rate is different, but in general, rates have been bouncing around that 6.5 to 7% range for a long while. I really think July 1st, we look at some of the data, well, that's when we're going to see this, if you draw a line from there, start to trickle down over the rest of the year. This is, I was looking at median income here, because if you look at median income and prices, look how median income is flat and prices have just continued to went up. And this is since 1985, meaning that affordability continues to get lower. So that's the emotion part. People say the market feels like it's overpriced, and I wouldn't disagree if you look at what the average person makes, especially here in Central Florida. But there's no meaningful inventory, I think, going to come online for the next few years as builders are way behind on putting new homes, getting more inventory. I think how the market feels is likely how it will feel over the next year, 2 or 3, as the market slowly gets some more supply. And affordability is always going to be an issue because ultimately real estate is kind of a fixed commodity as far as what's available for sale. And in any given market, as that market grows, there's less, supply, and housing demand goes up and prices go up. So I think affordability is something that here in Central Florida, we had a very affordable market for a long time. And I think the new normal is just so many people want to live here. That's the market that we have. I did think this was kind of a sobering article here about real estate agents. And they talk about here, realtor boom ends as housing market slumps. And we'll take a look at what they mean by housing market slumps. But this is the number of realtors in the United States. 1.45 million seems like it's been the peak. And then as the market obviously gets better, all these agents and people in the lending business jump back in. But you can see this little decline here. And that's kind of the point of this article. They're pointing out that more than 60,000 have exited the sector over the last 6 months. And obviously they're saying the common sense here that anytime prices go up, realtors flood into the market. But sales of existing single-family homes fell 42% from their peak of 6.66 million in January 2021, down under 4 million to 3.85 million in April of 2023. And there is definitely a tale of two markets going on. I know realtors that are newer, they're not mentored, they don't have a great plan. They are struggling. Meanwhile, agents that have reach and have been around for a while or following some kind of plan, they are just knocking it out of the park. And if you want to know where the puck is going, I think over the next few years, I need buyers as a lender to really survive. But the puck is going where if I was an agent, I'd want to be a listing agent. That's where you list a home. It's anywhere in the realm of what the house should be priced at. Those houses are selling. when I'm working with buyers, they are competing against more and more people that are getting into the market. There's cash offers. So it is really tough for first-time home buyers to get into the market. I just don't see that changing very, very much. We're having to get more creative. There's more programs coming out doing things to help buyers with their debt ratios. But I think as a listing agent, that's where, that's kind of where the market's at. There'll always be buyers. But if you're a listing agent, I think that's the agents that I see that are really, really doing well. So why do I think July 1st is a date to really look at? I've been saying to draw a line and look at the rest of the year. That's because that we're going to start getting some new data. The Fed meets, let's see, on June 13th and 14th. I believe CPI, which is the measure of inflation, ultimately comes out on June 13th. So we're going to have a lot of data. I believe the Fed will pause. They're not going to raise rates this time. And I believe they're going to set the stage for slowly maybe cutting the Fed funds rate later in this year. I think peak negativity has started to get past us. I mean, just 6 months ago, you heard market crash, market crash, market crash. You do not hear that as much right now. It's mainly about affordability, which we talked about. So I think July 1st, we're going to get this slow trickle down. No, the demand's not going to get shot out of a cannon, or neither supply, but I think this is what the new normal is going to feel like. I think we're going to get rates trickling down from July 1st throughout the rest of the year. Again, nobody knows for sure. All kinds of things can happen, wars, black swan events, but ultimately, I think that if you've made it this far, you're in the right place at the right time. And if you have any questions on this data, market, programs, anything I can do to help, reach out to me. I'd love to help. This is Race Robinson, your favorite Florida mortgage broker. Have a great week, and I'll talk to you soon.